Welcome to Living Well with Mary Lou Andre, a 30-minute monthly lifestyle program to help you live better on your own terms by being inspired by thought-provoking leaders who make the world a better place to live and thrive. I'm your host, Mary Lou Andre, and today I'm excited to introduce you to Natalie Martinez. The CEO of Girls Inc., Natalie knows girls. Her mom is one of 3 girls, she is one of 3 girls, and she has 3 girls. In her current role at Girls Inc., she leads organizational growth and innovative programming to help over 2,200 girls and college-age women annually in Boston and Lynn ignite learning and leadership. She also leans into a wide range of personal experiences growing up in the Mattapan neighborhood of Boston to teach the young people she mentors to spread their own wings and fly. In addition to her extensive professional experience, Natalie holds a Master's of Public Policy from Tufts University and is a member of the teaching faculty at the Institute for Nonprofit Practice. Please join me in welcoming Natalie Martinez. Natalie, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Oh my goodness, 2,200 girls and young women. That is quite a responsibility to sit down and share your remarkable leadership story with our viewers. Just a little bit of background for our viewers. I came to know Natalie last year. I was introduced to her by one of her board members, and she came and spoke to one of our leadership groups. And as much as we were impressed for Girls Inc., and we actually became sponsors and donors at that point, it was your story, Natalie, and your unbelievable presence that captured us and had me want to invite you to be on the show today. So welcome, and thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, great. So before we get into the programming and some of the amazing wins and accomplishments of your organization, let's go back to the younger Natalie and share with our audience. You were raised by strong women. Your mother was one of 3, you're one of 3, you have 3 daughters, and you also were raised in the Mattapan neighborhood of Boston. So you saw it all. And how do some of the experiences that you had in your own life make you uniquely suited for leading this incredible organization?
Well, that's an amazing question. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for giving honor to my family structure and the way that I was raised. And in addition to being raised by very strong women, I have to lift up my dad was a part of my early upbringing, and with my dad being a military man and a part of my life in a major way, I was raised with a lot of structure in my early years, as well as the strength and resilience of my mom and my aunts and my 2 older sisters. And I had access to a lot of different opportunities and things that a lot of my peers didn't have when I was in my early years. But then even with that opportunity access, there is also equity challenges with growing up in the inner city. And that's some of what has impacted my leadership today, who I am today, how I view my work at Girls Inc., because despite all of the opportunities that were in front of me, I still was met with many challenges and obstacles to overcome. So the way that it informs my leadership is really my lived experience. I lead from a place of knowing exactly what these girls are going through, although my story is different. Every one of us are different.
Absolutely.
However, I've been able to overcome some pretty significant challenges and unlock the power that had lived within me as a little girl that I wasn't always aware of until I met my first mentors. But that's what helps me to be able to connect with our girls and really shape our programming and how we lead at Girls Inc.
Awesome. So when you and I were talking before this interview, you shared a really interesting story with me. So I'd like to frame it and then ask you to kind of comment it. Sure. So you got into Catherine Gibbs, and that really changed your life.
I did.
Yeah, you were at a time, what year did you graduate, Catherine
I
Gibbs?
graduated Catherine Gibbs in 1998.
Yeah, and you shared with me that there was just so much opportunity because people needed those skills.
Yes.
So you ended up at a law firm. Was it a law firm?
Well, so I was originally supposed to go into a law firm. My studies were secretarial arts with a legal specialization.
Okay.
But after interviewing at a few different law firms, I still had transferable skills, and from there, I went to work in a insurance company.
Okay, that's right, insurance company. And can you share with the audience, because I asked you when we were talking, what was the biggest lesson that you learned? And you said something pretty profound. Can you share that?
Working at the insurance company, my first boss was the vice president of the actuarial department, and it was a woman. And that was my first time seeing a woman at that level of leadership in a corporate environment. And what it taught me is that women are strong and they're smart. And she was absolutely phenomenal. She had a quiet leadership about her. She commanded an office that was predominantly made up of men. And so watching her be the vice president of the actuarial department showed me very early on that women could step into leadership roles and really command and have a presence based on who they are and how they show up in the world.
You also share with me that mentorship has been so critical to your success. So can you also then give us, we're getting to Girls Inc. You had a few jobs before arriving there.
Sure.
You definitely had some really strong women, other strong women that were mentors. So can you talk about that one mentor that really changed your life?
Sure. My mentor, my first official mentor, although that's not the way that our relationship began. It wasn't a traditional me seeking a mentor. I started working at the Unitarian Universalist Association in 2001, 5 days before 9/11, and that always anchors
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
that time in my life.
Yeah.
Exactly, because where the world or the country was going through such tragedy, and of course I felt that my life was about to start on a trajectory of promise and an upward trajectory, because my boss at the time really saw something in me that was important to my story today. She saw potential. She looked beyond my current circumstances and really pushed me to lean into my skill set, into my personality. And she opened doors and gave me opportunities that, that I hadn't been afforded before that. And so eventually, over time, started out as my boss, she became my mentor and has been with me throughout my entire career. And now is more of a family member.
You said that. I love that. From mentor to family member.
Exactly.
I want to meet her. She sounds fabulous. Everything that
She's
you
phenomenal.
Share with me.
But yeah, that's how that relationship started. But the truth be told, her impact on my life really opened me up to a lot of different opportunities. And I began to learn and understand and appreciate what mentorship can do for an individual if you have someone in your life that really believes in you, breathes into you, gives you opportunity. And that's what I'm trying to do for the girls in Boston and Lynn.
Awesome. So let's now go into Girls Inc. a little bit, because
Sure.
your success, one of the reasons why the women's group that I'm involved in did choose you last year, we had about 10 applicants, and we chose you, Girls Inc. as the organization that we wanted to really get behind it and sponsor last year, was your success rate. So fast forward, you are the CEO of Girls Inc. for the last 2 years.
Yes.
Yep. Share with the audience, before we get into the incredible numbers of your success story, what the organization does. What is its mission?
At its core, our mission is to empower girls to be strong, smart, and bold. And what that means is to be able to have confidence, healthy living, academic success, and achieving life skills and other skill sets. And we do that in an after-school setting through programming that is research-based and evidence-based, that informs girls or helps girls to unlock the potential that's already within them. And so we do it again in after school programming setting through mentorship and curated programs that are specifically around those pillars of strong, smart, and bold. And we serve girls throughout their entire life. Specifically, our programs are for girls between the age of 5 and 18, but we also have some additional programming for young adults who are in college and post college careers as well. So we have a full range of programming that spans the gamut of a young girl to her young adult life.
Share with the audience a couple of the innovative programs that you've really been a catalyst of.
Yeah, so some of the programs that we really love to highlight, one in particular is our program we call Eureka. And it is a STEM-focused program that gives girls the opportunity to explore STEM careers, because we all know that girls and women are underrepresented in that field. That program starts out in middle school, and then it bridges into a program we call Project Accelerate, which helps girls to explore post-secondary education opportunities. So whether that's going into college and university or considering a career after high school, it's a true intensive program that matches girls with mentors to help them think about how they want to exist in the world beyond high school. We do focus on college, but we know that there are many pathways that girls can take beyond college as well. So that's the focus of that program. But then I also want to highlight for our younger girls, we have programming through our licensed childcare program, which is open to girls between ages 5 and 13. And in those programs, it's all about being strong, smart, and bold. And there's a girls' Bill of Rights that the girls learn about. And it helps them to understand how they show up in the world and what is possible for them. Because the thing that I like to say is that all of our girls come to us with different stories. Like my story is different, but they already have within them what they need to exist in the world. What we're trying to do is help them figure out how to unlock that and how to really lean into the beauty that's already within them.
Yeah, and what I loved in our conversation, you used the word ignite a lot in teaching girls to fly, which are the themes that I picked up on. You also share with me that you have some young women that have graduated from the program, gone on to have very successful careers, and now they're back working with you.
Yes.
And there was one gal, I believe, that had a job in a sports franchise.
Yeah.
And talk about her a little bit, because that fascinated me.
Yeah, so one of our shining stars on our staff team was a former girl in the program. She went on to go to college I think she went to GW, and then got a job for the Harlem Globetrotters. But wanted to come back to Lynn, where she grew up, and really give back to her community. And one of the quotes that I like to quote from her is that she wanted to bring all the skills that she learned from Girls Inc. back to Lynn and work in that community, and therefore sought a position at the organization, is with us now, and is on her way to climbing the ladder within the organization. Honestly, she is an amazing individual, and I could see her in my seat someday. Yeah,
absolutely. When I went to your event in Boston, I had an opportunity to meet her. She's just lovely.
She's wonderful.
She's lovely, and the girls were really drawn to her, which it was, you had that event in Boston, it was lovely, and you had the girls there, which I thought was just phenomenal, because we got to hear from leadership and the talks and all that, but then to see the girls there, and they were all so happy. So I know that you serve girls in Boston and Lynn. Is there an application process?
So there's a registration process, not necessarily application.
Okay.
Girls
Good distinction, yes.
Girls register to be a part of our program. Our programming is free, except for our licensed childcare program, because that has slots associated to it, and it goes according to the EEC guidelines. But for all of our program, girls register, they sign up, and then they participate depending on their location. At our center in Lynn, we serve girls in Lynn in our facilities on High Street. Then we also serve girls in Lynn public schools as well. And then in Boston, we're in the actual schools and community centers serving girls. So we have a very wide reach in terms of how we're able to reach girls across the two cities.
And how large is your staff?
So we have a professional full-time staff of about 42 people, and then we have a roster of part-time employees who support with programming, and that's another, it ebbs and flows, but it's about 20 to 25 staff members.
Yeah. So let's get into the good stuff.
Okay.
100% of these kids go to college or to a secondary education.
That participate in our Project Accelerate program.
Okay.
Correct.
So what do you attribute that success to? That is incredible, Natalie. That is incredible.
First of all, and this is the truth, I attribute it to the ambition and the drive and the gumption of the girls that are in our program, because I have to reiterate that they come with everything that they need, and then we help them see the path. In
you
addition,
make learning cool.
We try to make it cool.
That's what we were talking about in
Yeah.
our group when we were talking about your organization. It was like, you take these kids that are so special, so smart, aren't we all?
Yeah.
And you plop them into an environment that actually allows them to thrive. You eliminate, and I know that they come from a lot of different backgrounds. There's a lot of different issues they're dealing with, but
Yeah.
in your walls, you're able to give them an experience of acceleration, the accelerator program.
Yeah, so to make it come to life for you a little bit, imagine coming into a room with 15, 20 of your peers, and then here comes a group of professional women who you may look up to, and they sit down with you and they have real life conversation about, what do you want to do after high school? How can I help you explore that? This is the career that I have, and this is how I got to this place in life. And so we help curate those mentoring relationships, which helps girls become even more curious about the possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of how that program is successful. We take girls on college tours. We help them with their application process from start to finish. We help them with various essay writing and other things. We help them access scholarship opportunities. Financial literacy is a major component of this program as well, which also leads to the success of the girls that graduate and go into college, because we help them not only understand the finances for going to school post high school, but what it will take in order to be able to fund their education beyond high school. And that's critical, and I like to throw out statistics because what we know is that many first-year college students, particularly students of color, 50% are expected not to complete the first year of college. I fell privy to that exact statistic and thankfully had mentors that helped me finish my education once I came back home. But what we're trying to do is combat that number, really equip girls that are going into college or into careers beyond high school to be successful in that first year and beyond.
And beyond, incredible.
Correct.
So for our audience, let's talk about your incredible mentors and volunteers and staff.
Sure.
You need more, correct?
Oh, always.
So if you're out there, I mean, a lot of folks in our audience have had successful careers with incredible skill sets. Mm-hmm. What kind of skills do you look for in a volunteer?
Yeah, at the core of our most impactful volunteers is understanding and coming with a level of curiosity. Mm-hmm. A lot of people come to us and have never volunteered or mentored with an organization like ours before. Many have experience, but many don't. And so we train our volunteers to mentor our girls in different experiences, and we look for all professions and all backgrounds. And we do take men as well as women volunteers as well.
Yeah, I did know that.
Mm-hmm.
So walk me through, or walk the audience through, you're in Lynn in Boston.
Yes.
Like if you were to volunteer, is it on Zoom? Is it in person? What does that look like?
It's mostly in person. So we have locations in Boston mm-hmm. and in Lynn. There are virtual opportunities, but they're minimal now that we're beyond COVID. Mm-hmm. And so that volunteering does take place in the actual schools where the girls are, or it's at our center at 50 High Street in Lynn.
Okay, awesome. And I think in person is more impactful anyway, and I think people are really craving community.
The data says it.
Yeah, so if you're out there and you are looking for an incredible organization to really, what also strikes me is you guys move the needle. You're not just like doing research and getting stats. You're like with these young women face to face, moving them through a very difficult time in life,
Yeah.
and you're making it fun and engaging. And your numbers on STEM, can you talk a little bit about that? So first of all, I think I read that you had 3 students get full scholarships last year to college. Your financial aid numbers way up. It's really impactful, especially if you're trying to avoid that go to school and then fall apart freshman year because you were blindsided by what the cost really is.
Yes.
But talk about that STEM, because that's fascinating.
Yeah, it's so in terms of the financial aid, the numbers are in the millions in terms of what our girls are able to achieve, because each of our cohorts go through this, 20 of them at a time. And then in terms of academic success, Girls Inc. programming makes girls 96% more successful in STEM activities, as well as exploring those types of careers. So that's what we really pride ourselves on, is being able to expose girls to STEM and STEM programming and careers through actual internships, as well as going into their company visits that we do, other things like that.
Incredible. And how did, because you're highly educated, how did the degree from Tufts, how does that impact you as a leader?
So my lived experience I can bring organically to any leadership role, but what I'm seeing in our world today is that the systems and the structures that create those inequities that I had to overcome is what I want to address in my leadership. So my degree, my public policy degree, allows me to dive into local community policies that impacts our girls on a broader scale. I feel like the change that we need to make in the world happens at the community level. So with this degree behind me, I'm able to help influence the type of programming that we set for our girls. We have lots of curriculum around civic engagement and getting involved in the civic process. And my degree has opened me up to how to be able to do that and really try to make more of an impact from a systemic level, in addition to what we're doing in that day-to-day with each one of our girls.
Yeah, it also opens up a whole community and network for you, which I'm sure is incredibly valuable. What do you look for in a board member?
In a board member, at this time, our organization is growing, and we're growing pretty rapidly. So we need people who can open up networks for us, introduce us to different companies or individuals that are interested in helping us grow our organization, as well as expose us to different industries that we might not have a connection to. We have great partnerships. Girls Inc. of Boston and Lynn is 84 years old. We've been around for a long time. But board members that have capacity, and the capacity in terms of time, and then their talent, which whatever careers they come from, as well as what they can contribute from a philanthropic perspective, is what we're looking for right now.
Yeah. So our group gave you a $2,500 check. That's what we decided to do. For our audience to understand, what kind of impact does that make?
Yeah. So all told, depending on the program, each girl costs about $1,000 a year to be in our program. So think of it as 2.5 opportunities that you've been able to open up. And the reality is that's impactful. It might seem like a small number to someone, but it's huge for us. In Lynn, our mission, girls under-resourced communities, ages 5 to 18, there's about 8,000 to 9,000 girls that fall within that category. Wow. So think about the fact that we're serving 2,200 girls. So we are impacting 1 in 10 or 1 in 8 girls in the community of Lynn. In Boston, there's 50,000 girls that fall within our mission, and we're only reaching about 400 to 500 girls currently.
Wow.
So think about how many people we need to get to. And as everyone knows, the nonprofit sector was structured around philanthropic dollars in order for us to survive. So you giving to us opens us up to give more impact and more opportunities to more girls. And that's why we obviously ask for the donations that we do. And we're so thankful for donations that come in organically like yours did, because it helps me to be able to say to my team, we can go out and serve more girls because of the impact that you were able to do for us.
Okay, I love what I really love about you is that you know your numbers and you know exactly what it costs for each girls. And actually, for what these girls are getting, that's not a lot.
It's not.
$1,000 per student is incredible. So those of you listening, we're going to get Girls Inc. on the screen. We're going to put Natalie's email. She's incredibly responsive. They need board leadership, volunteers, and money.
Yes.
Money to soar. So we're just about to wrap up here. What does living well mean to you, Natalie? I like to ask all my guests that.
You know, I really thank you for that question because I had to think about it for a little bit. And what came across to me was radical alignment. And so,
ooh, tell me more. I love this.
So aligning your values with what you're putting your life's work towards.
Love that. Yes.
And then on the other side, being able to actualize that in your day to day. I'm pretty aligned. As I'm getting older, I'm aligned with my values. My work every day really represents my values. But I have 3 daughters that are navigating this world in their 20s. And so living well for me is showing up for them in a way that they see a mom that's strong, but that is resilient through challenges, that helps them navigate challenges. Also, joy and happiness is critical to everything that I want to be a part of and be able to do.
Oh, awesome. Well, Natalie, it has just been an honor to have you. I loved you at Hello. Thank you so much for traveling down to Needham, Massachusetts and taking the time. I know that you have a lot of responsibility back in Lynn, in Boston, and what really came through the moment I met you, and I'm very grateful to Elaine Stokes, mutual friend, for making this introduction, is that you really do show up for the girls, yourself, your family. Is your mom still alive?
My mom is still alive.
She must be so darn proud of you, girl.
I have to say she is, but you know, I'm only who I am because of her. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
You're so welcome, Natalie.